free giveaway. Yes, you heard that right. In this episode, we're actually gonna do a free giveaway, and I'm gonna tell you guys the 3 prizes and the 4 rules to enter. First prize, we're gonna start off with brand new AirPods, sealed, in box, shipped to your door at my expense. These do also work with Samsung users, so don't cry about that. The second prize is gonna be your choice of merch. Either this one right over here in any color, any size, or this one right over here in any color, any size. The third winner will get a bunch of stickers and a shout out from me on Instagram and on YouTube. The 4 ways to enter: you must like this video, you must comment down below. Be sure you guys are commenting, because that's exactly how I'm gonna choose the winner. I'm gonna go through a random comment picker, YouTube, whatever it's called, and pick a comment down below, and I will probably record this and upload it in next week's video on Thursday, so be sure to tune in on that to see who the winners are. The 2 more rules is you must follow my Instagram and you must be subscribed to this channel. Super simple, super easy. With that being said, let's continue working on this E92, and in this episode we're actually hoping to get this whole quarter panel welded on, make sure all the gaps are set, everything is looking beautiful. We do have a ton of work to do still. It looks like not a lot of work, but there is a lot of such tedious work that takes super long. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to fly through this, see how much I can get done, and hopefully even mud it in by the end of this video. So before that, let's get the trunk lid on, let's get the bumper on, make sure everything is set, make sure all the gaps are perfect, and then we can put on some weld through primer. We got some weld through primer over here. Make sure none of that stuff rusts right over here. This is expensive. Make sure nothing rusts, make sure everything looks perfect, and tack weld this quarter panel in. And another step closer to completion. Let's hop right on it. All right, guys. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Well, first things first, what we're gonna do is actually perfect these cuts. All the cuts right over here, inside there, and whatnot. Every single like 1/4 inch or like couple millimeters you grind off. That means you can shift the quarter panel a little bit, and the quarter panel needs to be shifted perfectly in its spot. So right now we're just kind of grinding up there a little bit, making sure that the quarter panel lines up perfectly along with this right over here, like that. Basically flush right here and flush up top, and then cut around. Just make sure the quarter panel is perfectly in its spot. So we're gonna do that right now. I already got that top cut done over there, looking to be pretty good up there. I'm liking it. Very tight gap, not a lot of welding needed, well, not a lot of mud or anything needed, just perfectly right in there. We got 2 more cuts to make sure this quarter panel is perfect, because the better you do it, the less extra work you have to do. So let's hop on. Alrighty guys, well, we got the quarter panel on and we started aligning the gaps, making everything fit how it should, and here's that gap. Looks pretty solid. Here's the gap to the tail light. Everything is looking good. Tail light sits pretty. This side the tail light's not in yet, but look at that gap to the trunk. But unfortunately we just realized something else, that this box needs more pulling. As you can tell right there. Right here it sits pretty good with it, but right here needs pulling. And I started taking a better look at the box and I realized there's a kink right here, a little bigger than it should be. I checked because here's the old, or not the old, the new quarter panel that has no rear damage. I checked inside there and it has no, it has a kink, but it's not that aggressive. I realized that one, and then I saw one more kink, which is, where is it? Which is somewhere here. There was another kink. Oh, right. It was right here. It was like a funny wave. So we're gonna take the quarter panel off, grab a little hook in there, and pull it back just that 1 inch. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to unweld this piece from the inside to move it back and then re-weld it. So yeah, that was a crazy drift. You hear that? Oh yeah. All right, let's keep working. All right, guys, progress update. So we got this rear section, this box pulled out, and it actually came out pretty easily. This buckle I showed you guys earlier went away. Everything is actually lining up very, very good. Show them this gap up top right over here. Look at that gap, that tail light gap. I'm guessing the tail light gap is pretty good, so it's gonna be tightened down like that. Tail light gap is good. Things over here are looking good. Gap here is good. We do have to push the door just a hair forward, but that's gonna be done a little bit later. Right now, our main goal is to actually get the rear bumper on, get all these brackets on, get this bracket on, get this rear bumper bracket on, slap the rear bumper on fully, everything. Make sure all the gaps are good. Make sure the car is literally complete, and then we can actually pull it off. Make sure everything is complete, all the gaps are set, everything is beautiful. That way we ensure the fact that when everything is pieced together, it was once perfect, and we have that in mind and we can replicate that again. But before we do that, we gotta put some self-tapping screws basically all around the quarter panel. So I'll put one like right over here, I'll put one up over there, probably here and down there. That way when we do put the weld through primer on and the glue inside here, we slap this quarter panel on, tighten all those screws, and we're sure the quarter panel is in its proper place. So right now, let's get those brackets on and make sure this whole rear piece lines up. Alright guys, well the battery died and not a lot of things happened. We just took off the tail light and a couple miscellaneous things. But anyways, we got the quarter panel lined up. We got the aligning screw right over there. This is sitting flush, not a big gap, just needs to be pushed down and welded on. Listen to how the trunk closes. Come on, there you go. So look here, just that's it, boom. That gap is perfect all the way through. The taillight gap is perfect. The bumper gap is perfect as well. We got that measured up. And this door needs to be moved just a hair that way. And then we pulled out this right here just a tiny bit, maybe like a quarter of an inch. Just kind of tapped it from the back and it went out. The reason for that is because when we put this bracket on over here, the bumper doesn't sit flush with the taillight, but now it does. So everything is looking good. The trunk is closed. And we're actually going to test this piece right over here. So this is actually the... Let me open the trunk from the inside here. This is the composite subfloor, which goes right here. And we're gonna test it and then make sure to straighten out all this junk right here from pulling the rear body panel. And then after that, we're ready to pull this quarter panel back off, put our glue on, put our, what's it called? Actually, put our glue on and clean down all these spots. And inside these holes, I'm gonna mark it, like all these holes, I'm gonna mark inside there, just to know where to clean up the paint, so when I weld, it welds beautifully. And slide this quarter panel back on and start welding it. So yeah, we're pretty close. We're getting there. This is gonna be cleaned up, this is gonna be cleaned up, and that's gonna be cleaned up inside there. But we're getting extremely close, guys. Everything is officially pulled out. It took super long to get everything aligned, pulled out, and adjusted to how I like it. But yeah, the rear bumper went off and on like probably close to 5 times. Trunk went off a couple of times. Quarter panel went off like 10 times. It's gonna come off another couple of times. But yeah, we're ready. Let's get working. Let's measure this thing, do our final measurements, and pull the quarter panel off and start cleaning up everything. On second thought, we're actually gonna close off because it's getting late and we can't hammer, but we gotta hammer a couple of things to get that rear body panel, or not the rear body panel, the rear subframe in. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, well, next morning here, and we're gonna continue working. Last night we actually got a new welder. Shout out to Dan for hooking it up, dude. Amazing. We got gas, everything's looking beautiful. We did a couple practice welds, and the welds are actually going through. They're sealing up both sides and everything is looking perfect. Last night we got all the gaps lined, everything is looking good. So right now we're gonna pull the quarter panel back off and prep all these areas. That way they're ready for weld. These holes, I'm gonna mark them with a marker. That way I know where to prep the quarter panel, and then we're gonna paint it with weld through primer. Make sure everything is tightened up. Remember, this inner piece over here needs to be welded up as well over here because I unwelded it. But yeah, we're very close to getting this thing welded on. So let's get that all buckled in and welded up. Let's go. Alright guys, quick final look before we put the quarter panel on. This piece right over here is welded on, primed down, everything is perfect. We're actually going to spray that with a little bit of olive. But yeah, all the bare metal is closed off. You can't see any bare metal whatsoever anywhere. Primed under there, primed all around here. And yeah, the quarter panel, which is outside right now, it's got primer everywhere, as you can tell, all around. So there's no bare metal showing, and even if there is a little bit of bare metal showing, I do have a cavity wax type of deal that I will show later on how we go ahead and fill all these cracks with cavity wax. Basically it's this stuff right over here, see that little right here, and that prevents it from rusting. But yeah, we're gonna slide the quarter panel on right now, do our final measurements, and let's do some welding. Alright guys, well, fat progress update for you guys. We have gotten everything set. A lot of work. A reason for that is because we're not only changing the quarter panel right over here, but we're changing the inner side of the quarter panel as well, which bolts the trunk lid too. So as soon as you move the quarter panel, everything moves, and you have to play with the gaps everywhere. Basically this whole quarter of the car is just, everything got to be adjusted, and it's got to be perfect. We got this gap perfect, as you can tell. Look at that thing. Oh yeah, sitting perfectly flush, absolutely everywhere. The gap to the door is as well perfect. Look at this. So yeah, it throws a little shadow right here. It looks funny, but it is perfect. And we are ready to start welding this thing in. So right now we're actually gonna tack weld a couple places in, tack it everywhere. Here, 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 all the points. That way the quarter panel does not move. And then we're gonna disassemble everything and fully weld everything in, and then seam seal. But yeah, let's get to welding. All right, guys. Well, progress for the night. We got the 3 welds all done. We started tack welding, or whatever you call it, just welding in these holes in the back, making sure the body panel. Well, we took off all the screws, all the self-tapping screws, and the gaps are still there. Actually, I can't close it because of this. But yeah, anyways, I already tested it. The gaps are still there. Everything's looking beautiful, but it is getting late on us. So I'm gonna catch you guys tomorrow. Next morning here, we got a new cart for the welder. We got our fire blankets, and we're actually gonna now officially weld the quarter panel fully in. So let's continue working, boys. Alright guys, major progress update. That last part, I figured I'll just fast forward it like extremely fast, because that was about like 5-6 hours of just welding, grinding, making sure everything fits, making sure all the spot welds are drilled down, all the welds are drilled down or grinded down. Everything looks perfect. We got all of that basically ready. Everything is welded. The whole quarter panel is welded on everywhere, and it's actually grinded down now as well. So like that. If you look over here, look at that. Oh yeah. Anyways, we are now starting to seam seal. So we're gonna tape all this off wherever the seam seal needs to lay, and we're gonna go ahead and try replicate this exact same texture. We'll try to get as close as we can. It's really hard to get a BMW texture, but usually what I do is I put like this, the tape, and then I run it with the seam seal gun right inside the crack, and then I get a brush and I just up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and it kind of gives me that similar texture. But yeah guys, let's continue working and let's get this seam sealed, and that's actually going to be the wrap for this episode, because we don't have a big compressor in here to mud all this out and sand it down. So tomorrow we're actually getting a compressor. But yeah, but before that, we have the quarter panel officially on. Everything is folded over here. Everything is perfect. Gaps are looking beautiful. Everything closes nice right over there. But yeah. Alrighty guys, after about 5-6 hours of welding, grinding down, making sure everything looks pretty, we got the quarter panel on. Everything is sitting good. All the gaps are perfect. We did seam seal, and I did rattle can this white just to show you guys what it's gonna look like after it gets cut in with the proper color of the car. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Not exactly perfect as OEM, but I tried so many times to replicate this OEM, but it's just so different. I don't know, it's got all these like funny things and whatnot, so I don't know, I try to do the best I can and it looks awesome. But anyways guys, that is gonna be it for this episode. In the next episode, we're actually gonna prep out this, prep out the trunk lid, and prep out the rear bumper. The rear bumper has a little bit of damage, so stay tuned for that video. We're gonna get this whole car ready for paint, and it's gonna be on the road very very soon. But guys, in the beginning of the video I talked about the giveaway. Be sure you guys enter that giveaway because I will post the winner on next week's Thursday video. That way stay tuned, and the more people that enter, the awesomer it is. The prizes are completely free. I will ship them at my expense to your door. And with that being said, you guys have a beautiful day, and don't forget to follow my Instagram at BYBTim right over here, because I'm signing off.